Peace and blessings, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Hope everybody's doing good, man. Hope everybody's positive and in a good space. Hopefully, the world is still not mad at me. I keep hearing that everybody's upset, everybody's mad. Hopefully, you guys are not mad at me. Those of you that are still into metaphysics, still do metaphysics, but everybody else, I guess, that chooses to separate themselves from that, I understand. It's cool. I completely understand. But let's get to the metaphysics. Now I'm about to do a breakdown of disclosure. Man, I may have to. Of Disclosure Day. Alright, so I actually got a chance to watch the movie. I want to try and do a full breakdown of the movie and speak about some metaphysical aspects about it. Dang, I'm trying to think. I have to turn my camera or fix my camera. All right, so the movie starts off. With the young man Daniel. All right, the young man Daniel. He's at a wrestling match. That's the beginning of the movie. Then he is questioned by some. It looked like some authority figures, possibly agents, possibly a secret agency outside of the realm of what you know as government or something like that. These agencies, these things exist. These agencies, these things exist. All right? And as scary as it sounds, these agencies has nothing to do with politics. All right, I know that is hard to fathom, but a lot of these agencies have nothing to do with politics. All right, meaning that they don't work for the people, meaning they do not work for the people. All right, just so we're clear. They do not work for the people. All right. As hard as it is to hear, yeah, they don't work for the people. I'm not gonna elaborate any further on it than that. I don't think it gets any clearer than that. All right. And at times, they possibly may not even be human. They may not even be human. But I'll get to that. All right. So he's approached by these agency people about a device. They want his bag. They then get his bag. Then he's brought to an isolated area. I guess they have his girlfriend. His girlfriend, the guy's name is Daniel or Dan or Danny. Jean is the girl. I think her name is Jean. Yes, Jean or Jane. All right, Jean or Jane. I don't want to mess it up. That's his girlfriend or whatever in the movie. All right. She loses her faith. All right. This is identified later in the movie. She used to be a nun. She loses her faith. In the movie, it is important to watch people's eyes. People's eyes tell you a lot. In the movie, people's eyes tell you a lot. And I think that some of the aspects of the movie is a play on comic books, just with the name Jean or Jane, and then the fact that Emily Blunt's character, her name is Margaret. She has strong telepathic and empath abilities, right? Similar to the X-Men, Jean Grey. All right, very similar to your Jean Grey from the comic books. All right. And this other guy, Daniel, he can decode mathematical equations and stuff. All right, that is an ability. I just can't reference that to any comic book or comic character. Now, I'm pretty sure it is available, but it's just not coming to me. All right. Um, the movie is kind of weird. It's kind of suspect. Some of the things going on, like for instance, when they brought Daniel to the isolated area, I don't know why they didn't search him. They didn't search him, so he had it on him. So this is why I say that the agency stuff is kind of suspect, but it's a movie. Keep in mind this is for entertainment purposes. Even what I'm saying is for entertainment purposes, but this is also a movie. All right. Some people say some of these movies are like documentaries or they are based on true events or true characters, but this is for, I guess, our imaginations to think about. All right. I'm trying to think what else. Um, all right. So he has this device in the isolated area where him and his girlfriend, and they eventually escape because of the power and the potential of this device. In the movie, there is three of these devices. There's three of these devices. All right. Once again, to play on the whole Trinity thing, the Matrix, Trinity is the female in Matrix. All right. So you have your Trinity aspects. All right. Let me see if I could do this. Ready? Y'all ready for the pseudoscience? Pseudoscience. So I'm watching the movie to try and remember some of the scenes that I may have forgotten, because you really, be honest with you, you have to watch this whole movie, because there's a lot of, unless I'm watching a different version from what Hollywood put out or whatever, and they do have those. Folks, I don't know. This is what I've heard through the grapevine. I'm not sure if it's real or true. Every movie that you've possibly seen, they have different versions. Of course, you know, you have your director's cut, you have your, and then you have your four theaters copy, all right? But then you also have secret movies that were made for your quote-unquote elite that some of you have never seen or probably will never see, all right? But this is the movie that I mean, this is the version that I've seen, I guess, released by the theaters. All right. All right. So let me. Dang, I gotta close this. All right. Hopefully y'all can see it. All right. So in the movie, there was three devices. I cannot attempt to draw how they looked, but they were like, I guess like this. Man, I don't know if that came out good. That's what they look like in the movie. All right, the play on the Trinity things already. All right, so you know you have the three biggest thing we can't miss. All right. On the planet are the pyramids. All right, the three pyramids. Now, the Trinity thing is prior to, say, modern religion. You had your ancient religions, I guess, or your older religions, right, or spiritual practices, or cult followings, right, where they had their own references to the Trinity reference, if that makes sense, right? Whether it was father, mother, child, um, man, woman, and child. Then you have your the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, Spirit reference, right? The pyramids is grandfather, father, and son, right? And then you have the elements, right? See, some aspects to a holy trinity or to a divine trinity would be like, I don't know, air, water, fire, something like that. All right, these are just references. All right, now three. All right, 3 and 3. This is just me making stuff up. Right, 3 and 3, you get 6. All right. But when you put 2 3s together, realistically, man, I'm messing that up. Hoping that come out right. You put 2 3s together, it would look like an 8. That's pseudoscience, though. All right, you do it. All right, put the 3s together as an 8. All right, and then you got all your symbolism with the kundalini, and you put a staff. I'm never gonna get into it. All right. Listen, a lot of the things that we see throughout this matrix is symbolic. A lot of it is symbolic. Some of it can be used for positive reasons, and some of it can be used for very, very negative reasons. All right, let me say that again. That's why everything is a vibrational thing. Everything is vibrational. All right. Let me try and continue. All right. In the movie, they used these devices, and these devices are very, 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 very powerful. All right. Another way of showing ancient technology. All right. As simple as putting it into a crystal or whatever the case may be. All right. Something very, very subtle that it would skip your, I don't know, skip your subconscious to look at it, or your consciousness, I guess, to look at it. All right. So you guys remember in the comic book reference, Invincible. Invincible. I forgot the guy's name. The agency guy, the guy that used to just teleport himself, and he said that every time he teleported, it cost like billions of dollars. The guy that was teleporting, and every time he would teleport, he said that it was costing the taxpayers billions of dollars. Okay, I want you to remember that in the movie. So in the comic show, in the comic book, Invincible, Omni-Man's son. All right, man, that starting is crazy. So anyway, in that show, there was I think it's Cecil. I think the guy's name is Cecil. There's an aspect where Cecil shows Mark that there is another reality in the space that they were in. He brought him into a room, and then he said something like, he said, turn the lights on or something like that. And then it was a whole different reality. It was... Oh, God. It was a whole different reality. It was a whole different reality than where they were in. And then all of a sudden you seen soldiers, and then you see like they were working on, what's the guy's name? Immortal Man, I think his name is. I don't want to mess it up, man. Please forgive me. All right? They were fixing him, and then he said, all right, that's enough. And then the room went back to being blanco again. All right? Kind of like my board. The room was like all type of devices and things, and then all of a sudden it just went just like that. It was kind of bugged out. All right? And that was simply by using the device. Just a reference to the comic book stuff. All right. I'm going to be real with you. That could be very, very scary. All right. That could be very, very scary. It's kind of like magic, but in this it is technology. Reference once again to your Scarlet Witch. Your Scarlet Witch. She had the abilities as well as Doctor Strange to manipulate reality. Okay? To manipulate reality. These, I hate to say it, some of these references are going back to your old gods, going back to aliens, ancient aliens, biblical reference, your fallen angels. Okay? If these beings came from the heavens, that means that they were very, very old and they possibly had technology that is over your head. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let me continue. So his girlfriend became vulnerable because she lost her faith. That is how the gentleman, I think his name is Nolan, he's the bad guy in the movie. He doesn't want the fact that aliens or the knowledge of aliens living with humans to be known. He does not want this to be known. All right. And then you meet the Margaret character. Her powers are triggered by her seeing a bird. I kind of went over this when I did the recap stuff, but I'm trying to do the whole movie so it kind of like makes sense. All right. Some of the movie does not make sense to me, but I know it's a movie for entertainment purposes. All right. Some of the things in the movie didn't make sense to me, but I understand it is a movie. Cause some of the stuff, if I don't know, if you're watching a movie sometime and you look at certain things, you be like, this doesn't make sense. You just got to say to yourself, it's a movie, all right? Or maybe, I don't know, it's a glitch in the Matrix, all right? Or maybe something's wrong with you. I don't know, all right? Because everybody's perfect, but something's wrong with you. Everybody in the world is perfect, but something has to be wrong with you, all right? Nobody else has issues or problems but you. All right. So, but it could be an interpretation or how you see the movie. It could be a misinterpretation or how you see the movie. All right. All right. Let me continue. Let me skip along this a little bit because. All right, so there are times when this guy Nolan, right, before he possesses, or he doesn't really possess her. Well, I guess he does possess her. Yeah, so he has to be located in a place where they could utilize the device, because the device in the movie, I think it gives off a frequency, all right? So I'm not sure how expanded that frequency goes out, or how far it goes out, but I think that once it's attached to a certain, I guess, body or DNA, it could possibly be harmful to your body, right? Meaning that you've heard from what I've heard, references or stories in regards to there possibly being radiation residue whenever certain people would encounter, i.e., sightings, crop circles, or finding mysterious materials or mysterious minerals, right? Meaning that some of these minerals can give off toxic radiation, negative radiation effects to our physiology, our bodies, right? Meaning that it could be a dimensional thing. This is why you have aspects of people finding, or not finding, but hearing about elements that are not from Earth. All right, meaning that there's no element on Earth that we found that's like this. This is where you hear your meteors, um, sometimes rock fossils found in the ocean, things of that nature. This is what I've heard. I don't quote me to that. But this is what I've heard. All right, man. I'm talking long. I didn't want to talk this long. Just going over the stuff that I missed in the recap. Certain lines in the movie that they say play on certain things. You just have to catch it. I don't want to go over that. You just have to catch that stuff. I'm trying to. I'm trying to remember everything that I didn't go over with the recap. That's what I'm trying to do. Skip into the movie for any key points. Come on. Okay. So one interesting aspect too is the fact that they recreated Margaret's home to trigger a childhood memory, right? To then reveal that Daniel, I guess Danny or whatever his name is, and Margaret were both abducted as children, meaning that they were specially chosen by these aliens to have these abilities, to then be a bridge between species, between worlds, whatever the case may be, in a fictional sense, in how the movie is played out, right? Margaret is extremely powerful, all right? Extremely powerful. She is like, I hate to say it, in the movie she's like Jean Grey, all right? Literally, she can read minds. She can manipulate, not necessarily manipulate, but allow you to envision your loved ones within her or through her. Like if you had I don't know, a grandmother or a daughter, a niece or whatever, right? That you probably were close to or whatever the case may be, that possibly passed or I don't know. She can see, it, right? And that's what you've seen her utilize in the movie. Once again, in the movie, it's important to, I know I'm running on time, it's important to watch eyes in the movie. In a reference, look at the movie Jupiter Ascending. Look at everybody's eyes in that movie. Look at everybody's eyes in that movie. In that movie, you will see that not everybody is human, but they pretend to be human. No disrespect. And a lot of these people that are not human, in these some of these movies, they live off grid. I hate to say it, but it's real. A lot of them live off grid. All right, and they look human, but they're not. They live in a big farm somewhere, or they live like they're not human. In the movie, for entertainment purposes only, allegedly. All right, a lot of these people are not human. These possibly could be what you call your good aliens, right? The ones that are not trying to cause any problems, not looking for issues. They probably just want to live peacefully. They probably came from a planet allegedly that had a lot of warfare and conflict, and they probably just wanted to seek peace, right? But then you have bad aliens, right? That want to cause problems, so they want to be around humans. They want to, I guess, try and live vicariously through you as a human being, right? Because they may not share the same emotions, empathy. They may not have a soul. They may not feel anything. So they'd be like, oh, why do you love? Why do you care? Why do you show compassion? Why do you hug? You understand? And some of these people might be mischievous at the same time too. In the conspiracy world, they call them unagreeables. They unagree with anything that is positive or righteous. They unagreeable. So you have agreeable, unagreeable, and then you have your neutral aliens. All right, that's the Trinity. You go back to the Trinity. You go back to the Trinity again. All right. So you have your agreeables, you have your unagreeables, and you have your neutrals. All right, that's your aliens, and some of these aliens are succubus energies, spirits. Some of these are psychic energy vampires. Let me say that again. Some of these are psychic energy vampires, meaning that they feed off of low vibrating things. Fighting, conflict, I don't know, anything, I don't know, gossiping, lying. What's hard is that in the end, we have to wait till the, like in our reality, we have to wait till the end of this movie to know who's lying. We have to wait till the end of this movie to find out who's really lying. So until then, it's just everybody can just talk and point and talk, but it's entertaining. I'll wait till the post-credit scene. I'll wait until the post-credit scene. All right, but we'll find out who's lying at the end of the movie. Check out the movie. I think it's a very, very good movie. People are discouraging it. I think it's good. I spoke about some aspects of it that is real. I think this is like documentary type stuff that they're telling you and showing you in real time and then telling you it's entertainment. Be careful, folks. Reality is slowly breaking apart in this matrix. All right, peace and blessings. I still love y'all, man. Peace.